Welcome to Come Talk Sports, guys. My name is Christian Marenko, and my guest today is Austin. How are you doing today, Austin?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Nothing much, just enjoying the weather out here in Aspen.
Yeah, it looks beautiful out there. I'm in the air conditioned office here.
I love it. I love it. Awesome, Austin. So, what I wanted to get into is like your thoughts on like the NFL rookie, some of the predictions on the schedule this year, and like some wild predictions, like very early MVPs, early Super Bowl winner. Just give me your thoughts on that. Let's start with this rookie class, shall we? What do you like about it so far?
Man, this rookie class, I actually like a lot about this rookie class. Um, First thing, number one overall pick, Caleb Williams. I have a bold take on Caleb Williams that a lot of people aren't going to agree with. You'll have to let me know what you think. But just watching him, being a part of football my whole life, all the way through college, the red flags are real, man. And although he is talented and he's got all the ability in the world, best prospect since Andrew Luck, right? I think that's kind of everybody can agree on that. I think he might bust, to be completely honest. I don't think he's a sure lock as far as his maturity, his personality. Just some red flags that I've seen, man. He's already asking to be an owner. He's asking to change the CBA just because of him, because he's better than everybody else. He's crying in his mom's lap. I get it. Football's emotional, man. We cry after big losses, big wins, but there's a difference between crying because you're emotional and you put all this hard work in, and crying because you're immature and you're curled up in mama's lap. I mean, that's a bold take. I get it, but that's just kind of my thoughts on Caleb, at least. What do you think?
I think Caleb. I mean, I could see it. Caleb. Caleb. Being a bust, I could definitely see it. But it's just kind of hard, considering that they've built a great team around him. DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, Rome, and DJ Moore. Now, I wish they would have done that with Justin Fields. To be honest, I always
Yep.
thought Chicago would have done it with him because, I mean, people say Fields isn't a great quarterback, but I mean, look at the team they had around him. The O line was
Yep.
trash, head coaching was terrible, and whenever he did get it rolling, him and DJ Moore were unstoppable. And I would have, if I were Chicago, I would have taken Marvin Harrison Jr. first overall. That's what I wanted to see for them.
Man, I had a whole plan for Chicago written out that they could have flipped their script and been a Super Bowl contender in 2 years.
That's what I was
Think,
thinking
think,
too.
think about what they could do. Everybody wanted Caleb Williams, right? They could have traded back with Washington for a king's ransom. And then whoever wants another quarterback, they could trade from two back and move maybe back to six with the Giants or three with the Patriots, or whoever else wants to move up for another king's ransom to get Daniels or May. And then they could have had, shoot, five, six first rounders this year and next year combined.
No,
That's how
yeah,
you
that,
stack a roster. So yeah, I mean, Caleb, he's got all the tools, man. He's a dude. There's no denying it. Just some of those red flags, and then his teammates already calling him out. Jalen Johnson, he's straight up said on in an interview, "Don't bring that Hollywood stuff here." Like calling him out before he's even drafted.
no, yeah. I think he
That's
did a
just my thoughts on Caleb since we're talking rookies in the draft. But there's a lot of other rookies that I'm big on this year, especially at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, my favorite is Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm a big Ohio State guy. I think my rookie of the year is Marvin Harrison Jr. I think the Cardinals are a sleeper team, and I really think him and Kyler are going to be an unstoppable duo. And I mean, we saw his daddy ball on the Colts. I think he's going to do the same thing. I think
Oh yeah,
Marvin.
100%.
Hmm.
100%, man. That guy, he is his dad, but more athletic. Like
No, yeah,
Marvin Harrison Sr. was, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a top 10 receiver all time, but his son is taller, he's faster, he's more agile, he's quicker in and out of breaks. Marvin Harrison Sr. was a technician, man. That dude can run routes, set dudes up, break dudes off at the right time. He pressed leverage well, he stemmed his routes well, and his hands were top five all time. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is even better than that. I'm in total agreement with you on that one, dude. He's a can't miss prospect. And the only thing that would ruin his career or make him not a for sure perennial all pro, at least perennial all pro bowler, would be injury. I mean, that's the only thing I could see slowing him down.
oh, I agree with you 100%. I think that goes for a lot of these big prospects. But
Yeah.
I guess like if I were to tell you who my big bust is, I'm gonna go with JJ McCarthy on the
Oh,
Minnesota Vikings.
100%, man. I don't know if you saw my video I put out. It actually got like 70,000 views or something like that. It was a video basically talking about how JJ McCarthy is overhyped, he's a bust, and we're doing a disservice to the poor kid trying to tell him that he's a top 3 pick when he's really a second round talent.
No, yeah, and as a Broncos fan, I won't lie. I was praying we were gonna take him at 12. I was literally praying. I was just like, please, not JJ McCarthy. But
100%, dude.
I just feel like he's got Busterin all over him. I feel like his accuracy is not the best. I feel like there's a lot of problems with him more than Caleb and any other quarterback in this draft. And you're right. I feel like if it wasn't high demanding quarterbacks this year, he would have fallen to the second round. And
I,
watching his games at Michigan, I just wasn't that impressed. I feel like Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards really carried the load there. Their run game was unstoppable, and it's amazing to see what they can do at that. What both of them did at Michigan, and I think that they don't get enough credit, but JJ does. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man, the quarterback is like quarterback nowadays kind of drives me nuts. I mean, MVP, it's a quarterback award. Heisman Trophy, it's a quarterback award. Doesn't matter how good somebody else is. I mean, to be honest, Ndamukong Suh should have won the Heisman the year he was up for it, and he got screwed because of a quarterback. I mean, it's just the way it is now. Quarterbacks get all the glory, but they do get the blame too. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it's and this might be a hot take too, but I think quarterback's the second most important position on the field. If I had to go with in the heart like second hardest, if I had to go like the most important and the first hardest, it had to be corner.
Oh, dude, they're kind of one and one, you know what I mean? Like physically, yes, corner is the hardest position to play. It is so hard to cover an elite athlete and run with him when you don't know what he's doing, especially if he's a good route runner. That's like, I mean, Pat Surtain, Sauce Gardner, those dudes that can do it man to man and actually lock up a dude and lock up a whole side of a field impresses the hell out of me. Quarterback, though, it's so mental. That's why it's hard. And that's why only really, to be honest, what do we have? 6, 7 dudes in the NFL, which means 6, 7 dudes in the entire world can play that position at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a processing thing. I mean, the big arm isn't really that impressive to me. How many dudes in the NFL have a big arm and can make those throws? I mean, that there's certain guys that are exceptional, right? Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, those dudes can throw the ball 80 yards. But a lot of guys in the NFL can make every NFL throw. It's just how can they process it? How can they 1, 2, 3 balls out, not taking 2, 3 hitches, not scrambling out of the pocket when there's a clean pocket. Just so many intricacies that go along with the quarterback position that will be the difference between you being a good quarterback or you being Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold or one of those guys.
Mm-hmm. And I made a bunch of comparisons for these quarterbacks. For Caleb, I feel like his ceiling, you're right. He reminds me a lot of Andrew Luck, and I feel like that's where his ceiling at. But a lot of people say he's the next Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like that's a really high standard.
Uh-huh.
Jaden Daniels kind of reminds me of Lamar in a way.
Yep,
Drake,
100%. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a easy good comparison just with his ability to run the ball. Lamar
yeah,
and Jaden are I mean, who know Jaden might not be Lamar good. He may not be an MVP level, but that's his comp for sure.
oh yeah, 100%. And my comp for Drake May was like an Aaron Rodgers or like Kirk Cousins in my opinion.
So Drake May for me, and a lot of people have said this. I'm not just trying to tail off of what other people are saying, but he really is a Josh Allen comp for me. Big arm, athletic dude, strong as hell, likes to run the ball. And the thing that I really see Josh Allen and Drake May with is he doesn't like to be careful with his body, which scares me because he'll try to hurdle dudes, he'll try to truck dudes, and that's what Josh Allen does, which is his big concern, right? Everybody's like he's gonna get hurt. I mean, he's only what 26-ish now. I haven't looked at his age, but he's been in the league a few years. Eventually, when he's 30 or so, he can't do that anymore.
No, yeah, and I actually like that comparison too a lot. Like you said, I heard that comparison a lot too, and I was just like, that's a really I mean, I saw him at North Carolina. That's a really good comparison. He's got the arm, like you said, and he's big and strong. He kind of reminded me of Cam Newton in a way too, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That size, just a big dude, big body
Massive.
guy. And then the Caleb Williams comp you're talking about, Andrew Luck, he that could be his ceiling. I know I just said I think he's gonna bust, but if he doesn't and he matures right, he could be better than Andrew Luck. I don't see Mahomes in him. Some of his play style, yes, his improvisation and kind of things like that. I do see Mahomes. Actually, side note, you know who I really think reminds me of Mahomes is a freshman quarterback in Nebraska named Dylan Raiola. I saw that dude play live. I went up on a coach's visit and met with Matt Rule and his staff, and we got to sit through meetings and stuff. And this was just a couple weeks ago, right before the spring game. Dylan Raiola is a stud. Anyways, that's for 4 years from now. That's for a different podcast. But Caleb Williams, I don't see Mahomes as much in him. It's not like a Caleb Williams is Mahomes. It's Caleb Williams could be that good, but I don't think their play style is exactly the same. Nobody's Patrick Mahomes, and everybody wants to compare people to Patrick Mahomes. He's one of one.
101, yeah.
And I'm a Broncos fan too. I hate to say that, but he is one of one. He's the best, and he's on track to be the GOAT, and
No,
like
yeah.
it or not.
And I'm a huge Broncos fan too. And the fact that they upgraded Mahomes' receivers, Xavier Worthy, in my opinion, even though like people are saying he's not doing well at practice, so Jamar Chase was the same way. He didn't ball out, and look at him now. I think Worthy's going to be a sleeper guy in this draft class. You know, he's got the speed. He reminds me of a Tyreek Hill. And I hate to say this as a Broncos fan, but it's really hard not to see the Chiefs three-peat. You know, like they upgraded that position phenomenally with Hollywood Marquise Brown too, and that takes pressure off Kelsey as well. And who knows what's going to happen with Rashid Rice? But hey, man, they really upgraded there.
100%, dude. I agree with you. I mean, I just put out a video yesterday. I don't know if you saw it on Xavier Worthy. Uh, I did a full film breakdown of Xavier Worthy. I coach receivers, and watching his tape, he does everything that I coach. And I was coached by former NFL receivers. So the things he's doing are the things they teach in the NFL. Xavier Worthy is not just the speed guy people think he is. The Chiefs, they did it again, man. Their scouting department is on point. I hate it, but it is what it is, man. Xavier Worthy is going to be good. The scheme is perfect for him. Obviously, he runs the 4-2, right? He's gonna blow by some dudes. But on top of that, he's a technician, man. It's not just his speed. The dude runs routes crisp, and he knows how to run routes.
No, I agree with you 100%. And he's got the talent. That's what I love about Xavier Worthy.
The other
He's a great.
thing that pisses me off, people say he had the drop issues. He only had 1 year of drop issues, and the dude had a broken hand. I mean, he's gutting it through a broken hand.
No, I know. He has a broken hand, and I think if Texas stayed healthy during the second, I mean the first round of the college playoffs, I think they would have won. You know, because Xavier Worthy was hurt in the against Washington, correct?
Right, he had the ankle issue. He got hurt in the Big 12 championship game, and he wasn't all back from that.
No, yeah. I think he's just a special talent. You know, I love what he's doing. And I mean, like, if Marvin Harrison isn't the best wide receiver, then I think it'll be Xavier Worthy.
There's a few guys, man. So my top seven this year went in order. With in the draft, I had Harrison, Neighbors, Adunze, um, Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, uh, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Legette, and then my number 8 was Lad McConkey. My 8 was Lad McConkey. My 9 was A.D. Mitchell. My 10 was actually Keon Coleman. I'm not big on Coleman at all.
Oh, really? You're not big on Keon Coleman?
No, that's one guy. I did a breakdown on his film as well. I released a video a couple weeks ago. His routes aren't good. He's a great athlete. Don't get me wrong. He's fast. He's big. He's strong, but his attention to detail and his technique is so poor. It
Mhm.
drives me nuts. A dude that's that athletic. He reminds me, and this is gonna hurt because I'm a Broncos fan. He reminds me of a Cortland Sutton, but a poor man's Cortland Sutton. I mean, when I say he reminds me of Cortland Sutton, he's got great high point ability. He can go up, catch the ball, high point the ball. He's got strong hands at the point of the catch, but he doesn't even run as good of routes as Cortland Sutton does. And Sutton's not really a route runner.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's the deep threat, and I mean, that's what I was hearing about Keon Coleman. Because for fantasy football, we have like a dynasty league, and I don't know, like I was kind of high on Keon Coleman because like with Stephon Diggs being gone, like I don't know who the number one is going to be in Buffalo, and I was just like, could
Mhm.
Keon Coleman be that guy that steps up? But my friend was also telling me what you're telling me. He's just a deep threat, and he goes, he's not going to get that many targets, like maybe like Shakir is, like in the middle and stuff.
Yep. He when I first saw Keon Coleman's like play, his highlights, I was just watching, I don't know if it was ESPN or what, but I saw his highlights and I was like, damn, who's this dude? Because he looked like a stud. I mean, you see his highlights and you're like, oh, this guy can ball. And then I watched his actual tape, like his game tape, and I was like, man, this guy's not refined. He's not a technician. He doesn't pay attention to his details in his routes. If you check out the video I did multiple times, I only showed a couple highlights because it's a short form video. It's like a minute long, but
Mm-hmm.
multiple times he's not holding the bottom of the numbers. He gets walled out all the way to the sideline, and that's what forces him to go up and make those great jump ball catches because he's not running his routes right, giving the quarterback a chance and giving him a chance to separate properly. And these are ACC corners. I mean, I know that's still a Power Five conference, but in my opinion, ACC is the weakest of the Power Five, now Power Four, and he's not getting separation against ACC corners. I'm kind of worried about him in the NFL, especially when he goes to New York and plays Sauce. Sauce is going to lock him up.
No, I agree. Yeah, Sauce is a great corner, but I mean, they and this might be like a hot take, but I feel like they said the same thing, about DK Metcalf. His route running, he was the big guy at Ole Miss. They question his route running and stuff, and I feel like that can be fixed. Like, and that's why I feel like Keon Coleman can change it. Because now DK's a monster on Seattle, and so
Mm-hmm.
like. So I feel like Sutton, in my opinion, is probably one of the most underrated wide receivers right now in the NFL. Um,
That
and
that is one thing that I will say about Coleman is everything that he does wrong in his game is coachable. You can coach it out of him. He has the parts that you can't coach, the height, the speed, the strength, the stuff that he has wrong in his game is 100% coachable, and the Bills could fix that and he may be an all-pro receiver. But part of me is like Florida State's a good program. Do they not have a receivers coach that's already been trying to fix him?
that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. But I like you said, it could be fixed easily. I think it could be fixed easily over time.
I'm not going to discredit the dude as an athlete. Just he needs some refinement.
No, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Let's move on to like our next segment then. What are your predictions for like each conference and the divisions? Like what would you say about each one of them and like super early Super Bowl predictions and super early awards?
Ooh, all right. Divisions. I guess let's start with the AFC. AFC East is a gauntlet. And
It
I
is.
say that with with keeping in mind this, I say that if Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what he's going to be coming back from the Achilles. He's what, 39 now, 40?
Yeah,
Some,
39. Yeah, yeah, he's
yeah.
super old.
You never know at that age. I mean, age is a real thing, right? So if he comes back and he is Aaron Rodgers before injury when he was in Green Bay, that AFC East is a gauntlet, man. You got the Bills, who did downgrade a little bit. They lost a lot. You got the Jets, who their offense doesn't seem to have a hole at all. And then you got the Dolphins, who can score in an instant. Um, but for some reason, the Dolphins are hit or miss, man. They're like, they can score like that, but I feel like you put them in cold weather in January football and they're not it.
No, I agree with you. They need that home field advantage.
They do. And then the Patriots are trash, man. They're going to finish at the bottom there. AFC East, my early prediction, I'm taking the Bills to still win it just because Josh Allen and their coaches and the whole team as a whole, they are battle tested. They did lose a lot. I do think the Bills still pull it out, but it's going to be a tight race in the East.
I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be a tight race. Um, I with the AFC North, I think that's a gauntlet, as well. You
Again, the
got
whole AFC, man.
it's a gauntlet. No, I agree with you. But I mean, in the AFC West, I just feel like, and I hate to say this, but like you said, the Broncos are going to be struggling for the next couple of years rebuilding this team. The Raiders are garbage every year. I'm not expecting much from them. And
Yep.
then it's a big what if for them. I mean, could Jim Harbaugh turn it around for them? And I mean, they got rid of Austin Eckler, they got rid of Keenan Allen. Could Quentin Johnson step up at that number one wide receiver position?
Yeah, so the West, man, it's the Chiefs, right? It's the Chiefs and then everybody else, unfortunately. Um, but like you said, the Raiders, they got quarterback issues. They do have a good, solid defense, but Zamir White, he's their number one running back right now. He's good. I'm not going to say he's not, but he's not Josh Jacobs. Um, the Chargers, like you said, is Johnston gonna step up and be the guy he was at TCU? I do love Lad McConkey. I think he'll step up and be their number one dude, but he's not a true like number one X type receiver like you just a Justin Jefferson or anything. But neither is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that dude's balling in Detroit. So I think Lad McConkey can compare to him sort of, and be that type of role. Harbaugh is Harbaugh. He wins everywhere he goes, but I think it's going to take him a year. I say the Chargers win 8 or 9 games, right around 500.
That's what I was thinking too. And I don't know if this is like a bold take either, but I feel like Peyton, can't turn it around with this young roster. And
Uh-huh.
I could win 8 or 9 games as well. Like,
Just just the fact that it's is Sean Payton will be like we were last year. We'll hang
mhm,
around every game and we'll pull out a few of them. And I think, like you said, 8 or 9 would be a good season for the Broncos,
mhm.
with how young their roster is and more than likely a rookie quarterback starting week one.
No, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I mean, it would be kind of funny to see if Zach Wilson did turn his career around in Denver with Sean Payton. I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's just such a long shot. But I mean,
Yeah.
I also wouldn't be opposed if the Broncos fit. And this might be not the best thing to say, but I wouldn't be opposed to them finishing last in the division, or in the whole conference, even in the NFL. Because, you look at next year's drafts, I wouldn't mind Travis Hunter on Denver at all.
Ooh, ooh, man. Travis Hunter and PS2 on the same team. That would be
You,
something else. That would definitely be a good fit here. I don't
mhm.
want to see the Broncos lose like that, just out of fandom. I'd rather. My theory is the more you win, the more you create a winning culture. The more you lose, the more you create a losing culture. It
Mhm.
would be nice to get some talent, a top five talent, and stack the roster. I'm just hoping to see improvement and see competent offensive football out of the Broncos.
That's what I hope for them too. Like, and like you said, I'm excited to see what Bo Nix does. Like 45 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's like unheard of for a quarterback. That's like those are nice numbers. I'm not,
Yeah,
and I know the Pac-12, their defenses are pretty horrible. They're not the best, but I mean those are phenomenal numbers. Those are numbers you see in a video game.
they are. Here's my thing with Bo Nix is he was through 77% completions last year. Crazy stat. 30% of those passes were at or behind the line of scrimmage. So he's
Yep.
throwing a lot of bubble screens, a lot of quick game smokes, a lot of slants, things like that. Now the bubble screens and stuff, Peyton runs those not all the time. However, the slants, if you remember what, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, Michael Thomas lived
Yeah.
off that route.
Hmm.
So I mean, he does get the ball out quick, and that's what Peyton's offense is. Get the ball, get in rhythm, get the ball out quick, get it to your playmakers, let them make plays. So although I was not huge on Bo Nix coming out of the draft, I think he could not have landed with a better system and a better coach. So it kind of excites me to see what he can do.
No, yes. Um, and I guess with like the AFC North, that's one I don't know. And the North is just hard to pick a team because you got Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. I mean, I know people don't like Deshaun Watson with everything he has going on right now, but he's still athletic. I love the guy, and
Yeah.
I think Cleveland can make a run. I mean, Nick Chubb. taking that horrific injury last year too. That was
Yep.
scary. But
It,
I don't. Oh my bad.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I think this is the first time in forever we'll see 4 teams make the playoffs out of that in that division.
Dude, you might not be off. You might not be off base at all. I think the one that will get left out, if one gets left out, is going to be Cleveland. Just because Deshaun hasn't seemed like Texans Deshaun. I know he only played 6 games last year because of the injury, which sucks for him. If he can become Texans Deshaun, the Browns are going to be legit.
Hmm.
But the Steelers, although Russ sucked the last 2 years, and I think he's a bottom 5 quarterback in the league now, Mike Tomlin finds a way. The
Hmm.
dude's a phenomenal coach. He'll put his guys in a situation to win.
No, yeah, and I mean I can agree with you. Russell Wilson, yeah, he's been terrible, top 5 bottom quarterback. I just feel like in a way Denver didn't give him the necessities, like Jerry Jeudy was not like the receiver we wanted, and then our O line was trash. Javonte tore his ACL the first year Russ was there, and our tight ends can't stay healthy either, and our defense is. I mean, we only have PS2. I mean, we had Justin Simmons, but now he's gone too. That's what you know.
Right.
But I
Hopefully they re-sign him. He's still out there.
he's still out there. No, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah,
But
and
the Joe Burrow too, if you were talking the North, in my opinion, he's the second best quarterback in the NFL when he's healthy. Joe Burrow's a dog, man. That guy, I don't see a flaw in his game other than his injuries. Right?
no,
He's been hurt, but other than that, I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. And if you look at it, the Bengals had the number 1 overall pick. They were trashed. 2 years later, they're in the Super Bowl because they got Joe Burrow. They did add Jamar Chase to help him, but I think out of the North, the Ravens are going to win it. They're just too stacked, especially with getting King Henry now. I think he's got one more decent year left in him before he kind of goes over that hump and starts to decline. Ravens will win that. Bengals are getting in the playoffs though. Steelers are going to be like this year where they're right on the cusp, maybe get in, maybe get out, and the Browns I think will be in the same wild card race right there.
What do you what do you think about the Texans?
Ooh, man, you want to talk Texans?
yeah, the
So here's
Texans.
my thing with let's talk AFC South. So I hate with a passion Ohio State, but
Yeah.
I
Go
love
blue.
the players that play at Ohio State. I mean, you can't deny their greatness. CJ Stroud's a dude, man. You look at what he did with that team. Yes, they added D'Amico Ryans. Yes, they added Will Anderson, but CJ Stroud, they went from a 3-win team to winning a playoff game, and it was basically Stroud, Ryans, Anderson, Tank Dell. That's kind of all that changed as far as key playmakers, and Stroud being the biggest one. Now they added even more this year. They got Stephon Diggs. I'm not a huge Nico Collins guy. I think he's a good receiver, but he had 500 yards, less than 500 yards in his first 2 seasons, and then he gets a good quarterback and look what he did. So I don't hate Nico Collins. Don't get me wrong, but
No, no,
I don't
yeah,
think he's a number 1. But yeah, Diggs, Collins, Tank Dell, Noah Brown still to fill in when they need a breather. CJ Stroud is bold take. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL already.
I I agree with that 100%. Like, when are you going to see another rookie quarterback ball like that again? He's and this might be an even bolder take, but Stroud is my guy to win MVP this year.
You said early MVP candidates. That's who I'm thinking of. CJ Stroud.
Yeah. And
CJ
also,
Stroud has a chance to win the MVP. And that's not something that's brand new. I didn't really make content back when he was in the draft, but people that know me can vouch for this. I said Bryce Young's a bust, and CJ Stroud's the best quarterback we've seen in a while.
Yup.
And so far I've been right. I'm not going to say I was right because it's only year 1, right? But
uh,
I mean, so far CJ Stroud's been that guy.
and I think you're gonna be right because he on ESPN. I was watching ESPN in the playoffs last year, and all the guys were saying CJ Stroud's not gonna win a playoff game, especially against an old guy like Joe Flacco. And he only had one really good receiver, and now he's gonna have Stephon Diggs to put on that, and he's gonna take it far.
My man, you got a career in sportscasting, buddy. Love the Puka jersey. That's another guy I was big on a year ago, and nobody believed me.
I was surprised by that Puka Nakua. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was able to get him in all my fantasy leagues.
Oh wow.
Nobody else wanted him. I was like, Puka Nakua is a good receiver. Sure enough.
Awesome,
Oh my
Austin.
God.
So our Zoom thing is almost done.
Cool,
You got
cool.
any last comments you wanna ask me or my boys I'm babysitting?
I did want to talk about real quick. We got 4 minutes left. Who's your rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year?
Marvin Harrison Jr. And for defensive, I'm gonna go. Oh my gosh, that one's kind of tough because I didn't really follow a bunch of defensive players because this draft is fully loaded with the offensive players in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. That's actually not a bad pick right there.
Yeah.
My
I say Marvin Harrison. Like,
Yeah.
I think the NFL is gonna not want to go for QBs this year and want to go for more receivers and backs. And also, I think Blake Corum's gonna have a
Yeah.
really big impact on the NFL.
I agree with you, dude. I think Kyron Williams' fantasy value is tanking. They're gonna
Ooh.
split. They're gonna split.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'd like
And-
to disagree with you so that we could have two different opinions on this show today. But MHJ he's the dude. Marvin Harrison Jr. wins offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Defensive rookie of the year. My take on that one for defensive rookie of the year, Leatu Latu. I think that dude's gonna have double-digit sacks as a rookie in Indianapolis, and Indianapolis will make the playoffs with the Texans. Jaguars get left out.
Ooh, I like that take.
yeah.
Now that you just reminded me too, I'm high on Dallas Turner as well, the defensive end that the
Yeah.
Vikings got. Well,
Yeah.
I think like you said, those top two guys now. Thank you for reminding me.
Those dudes are legit. I mean, Turner and Latu are both kind of 1A and 1B. The Colts snagged him at 15, man. That was crazy. No defensive players went till 15.
No, yeah,
I
man.
have a question. Do you think Stafford's gonna be better or worse because he's older?
Man, I'm a huge Matt Stafford fan.
Yeah.
He's getting old, but until I see a decline, I'm not going to bet against him. It could come. We never know when it's going to come. I mean, Peyton Manning, he was up here one year and then he was down here one year. So it could
Yeah.
happen any minute now with his age, but until I see it, I do think, though, kind of a hot take, I think Cooper Kupp takes a decline this year as he ages.
One more question. Do you think the Eagles are gonna be a top 5 team this year?
They're a tough one for me, buddy. I want to say yes, but the way they
Because
played at the end of the season last year was real disappointing.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm going to
agree.
say they're a top 10 team, but not top 5.
What about the Rams?
Rams, they're playing in the Niners division. They're not going to win it. They're not winning the NFC West, but I think they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah, they'll
I think that's true, but I think they'll be in like 5, 6, or 7. I think they'll be around there, and I think because they only lost by 1 to
Detroit. Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Maybe-
Yep.
maybe the
Oh
we
yeah, we
can-
forgot real quick. Early Super Bowl predictions. I'm going Detroit in the NFC, and
Yeah.
Super Bowl take may not happen. I'm going with Houston in the AFC.
Ooh.
yeah.
my prediction, I had the Ravens, and I had the Niners.
I like it. Houston, Detroit, 2 first-time Super Bowl appearances.
Yep.
This is my take. I'm gonna go Kansas City. I'm gonna go. I think Philly flies their way back into the Super Bowl. I think
Yeah.
I like it. All right, when's this gonna cut us off? Says less than a minute.
we're good now. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for